What are property taxes? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Daniel here. Subscribe to the channel, share with a friend, yada yada yada. All right, let's jump into it. So, we're talking about property taxes today. Well, the first thing I've pulled up is I'm actually looking at my old property that I used to live at, 8205 Horizonte Street in Travis County, Southeast Austin. It's in a new construction neighborhood, but I like that where I'm looking at right now because this is showing you what comprises the tax rate. Now, everyone's tax rate is going to be different, but I'm going to use this as an example. So, first thing, Travis County, 0.34445. We can't really control that. We're in Travis County. That's going to be the same for the entire county. Del Valley ISD is where I feed into. That one's going to be the majority of your tax rate. For us, it's 0.9969. So for your public education, doesn't matter if you have kids or not. I don't have kids. I don't plan on ever having kids. I still pay into this, which I'm A-okay with. I want people to have public education, so that sounds perfectly fine to me. Now, for our area, we pay into two different ESDs, Emergency Service Districts. We pay into Travis County number 11 and number 15. They're both 0.1. They're very small. There's a whole story behind why our neighborhood pays into two, but we just do. Travis County Hospital District, we pay into that. Austin Community College, we also pay into that. These are all very minimal, 0.1, okay? So super, super small. The other big one for us is our MUD, our Municipal Utility District. So because I live in a new construction neighborhood, the developers took out a bond to develop the land, right? Create sewage system and all of that, drainage system. And we pay higher. We pay into part of our MUD is our tax rate, paying that off because our neighborhood won't be finished for another 8 to 9 years. So the MUD won't stay forever. At some point, it will pay off the bond and I will no longer have to pay this massive 0.8% included in my tax rate. We'll see if I still live here when that happens, but that's what a MUD is. Some other new construction neighborhoods also have PIDs. So just something to be aware of. It's just going to increase your tax rate a little bit more because you're kind of paying off them developing that land, if that makes sense. And so for me, my tax rate is 2.5764, which is quite high. It's mainly because of that MUD, because we live in this new construction neighborhood. So just something to be aware of with that. Now, I've seen between 1.4%, it's probably the lowest tax rate I've seen in the Austin area, up to about 2.9% is the highest. So 2.57 is definitely on the higher end. Typically, anything under 2% is considered a low tax rate, okay? So what does this mean? Well, they use this tax rate against what they call your assessed value. So January 1st, the county is trying to figure out for your home, how much is it worth in the market? And they call that the assessed value, and that's for January 1st, okay? Based on that assessed value, they then apply the tax rate, and that's how much you owe in property taxes for that year. So when we say we're protesting our property taxes, we're not protesting the tax rate. I have no control over this tax rate. What we're protesting is the assessed value that the county sends out. Typically, you'll get a letter. April is usually when they send it out, maybe late March. I'm recording this mid-March because it's timely that people need to know this information. You should receive a letter. Now, are you going to get an email? No, the county does not make this easy for you. You're going to get a letter early April, and that letter is going to say what your assessed value is by the county. Now, this number is an algorithm. It's not someone going through every single home in our county and saying, I think it's worth this. They plop it into a computer system, it spits out a number, they mail it to you, okay? So this is why a lot of people elect to protest their property taxes, because sometimes the computer gets it wrong. Personally, I have protested my taxes once, and then I haven't had to the past couple of years because honestly, I looked at the assessed value. I know my market because I'm a realtor, and I thought that's actually lower than than what I would have been able to sell the home for. So I let it go. But I did find this article. I'm not going to talk all the way through this, right? You didn't click on a video to watch me read, but it's hometaxshield.com. I found it on there if you want to look more into this, but it's called 7 Steps to Successfully Protest Your Taxes, your Texas Property Taxes. So A few things here to be aware of. So like I said, you'll get your notice of appraised value, assessed value in April. You have to file your protest by May 15th or within 30 days after you receive your notice. So it is timely. You can't just decide to do this or wait to do this, in July. They have to make a decision by a certain deadline, because then they know how much money they're going to get for these school districts starting their school year, if that makes sense. So that is timely. It needs to be done within that time frame. But just briefly kind of going through these steps, this is if you elect to protest your taxes yourself. So step one, reviewing your tax appraised value. So you get the letter in the mail, you look at it, you think that seems kind of high. I don't think my home is worth this amount, right? And you can kind of look on Zillow. There's some free things out there you can look and see for your neighborhood. What are these homes selling for? Not are they listed for, because many homes are listed way too high, but how much did that house sell for down the road? That's just like my house, right? You can start doing some investigative reporting there. Gathering supportive evidence. Now with this, it's talking about getting a bunch of reports. Honestly, the most important thing is just finding comparable property sales, like I just said. You can also reach out to a realtor. I'm always happy to help anyone looking for this, completely free, but just helping someone, if they feel like the county's screwing them with their assessed value, reach out. I'm happy to do a quick search. I have the tools to find comparable homes in your neighborhood, what they sold for between November to March, right? That's typically a good time frame. Step 3, file your protest by the deadline, like we said, May 15th or 30 days after you receive your notice. Not after you open your notice. If you're like me and you rarely check the mail, it's when they've sent it, 30 days from then. So keep checking it early April. And then prepare for the informal hearing. This can be different depending on the county you're in. For me, Travis County is massive, right? And so I didn't do an in-person hearing. We scheduled a hearing over the phone, and I spoke against somebody from the county who was saying my home was worth something else, and then to a judge. And then they made a ruling based on that. But I didn't have to go anywhere. I was literally sitting in this chair, and I just did it from my house. So don't feel like you have to take a day off work to protest your taxes. For a lot of the time, they don't want to make a whole thing about it. They just want to be quick and done, 15-minute phone call, make a decision. Navigate the formal ARB hearing, appraisal review board. Definitely worthwhile reading through this and understanding what is going to happen in that hearing, how they'll present evidence, the type of evidence you should present too that's actually going to sway them. It's important to understand what you're stepping into instead of just yelling, I want this lower, right? Step 6 is kind of silly. It just says document. Yeah, of course. If you get something in the mail from the county about how much your home is worth, keep that, right? File that away. And then step 7 is saying consider professional representation. Now, I would put this as step 0. Consider that before you go through this whole process. But a lot of people prefer to go this route. Instead of protesting their own taxes, they will get a company to do it on their behalf. And so to give you a sense of that, Ownwell is a company that I've had clients use, and they have told me they really enjoyed working with them. I personally haven't used Ownwell. I've never worked with them. But from what I hear, again, this is just kind of hearsay from people I've spoken with. They've enjoyed working with them. So the main thing is you only pay if you save. So their job is to do all of the protesting for you. And then if they save you money, then you pay them. Now, you'll have to ask them exactly how much that is. If they bring your assessed value down by $1,000, that's not going to do much for how much taxes you have to pay. And then they say, cool, you owe us $200. Okay, that's not worth it, right? So it's definitely worthwhile asking questions before you sign up. And just say, how much do I pay you if you succeed? How much do you expect to bring my home value down? And how much savings will that result in my tax bill at the end of the year? Definitely some key questions there if you choose to go this route. But it's definitely worthwhile, especially if you're busy or you're not quite sure you understand exactly how to protest your own taxes. There are companies like this one, and almost just one example. There's plenty out there that you can utilize them and save money while still paying them to do it, if that makes sense. So I hope this helped y'all. It's a timely video. April is protesting tax season. So like I said, you can reach out to me. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I don't think we need to schedule a Zoom call for this type of thing. We can if you want, if you just want someone to look at. But reach out to me if you would like some help with property taxes this season, if you're a homeowner. And if you're a home buyer, don't worry so much about property tax rates. I had an investor call me this past weekend and was like, I'm looking for the lowest tax rates in the Travis County area for investment properties. And my point to him was that cannot be the only thing you're looking for. Because if you get a low tax rate, but you're buying a $200,000 home, who cares, right? Who cares if it's 3% tax rate? The home value is so low, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So it's just one factor when you're looking to purchase a home. But yeah, reach out if I can help in any way. And until next time, I will see you guys around town.